Hello, everybody. This is Jay Delvecchio with W.I.T.S. I appreciate you joining us today for what is a new fun topic for us. We have Martha with us, who's actually a certified W.I.T.S. grad as well, but much more. I can't say enough muches, but she is. So I'll turn this over to her for what I think is going to be a fun thing for you guys to explore and hopefully add to your business. Hi, Martha.
Hey everybody, welcome to How to Design an Online Course. And I'll tell you just a little bit about my background so you know why I'm standing here talking to you about this. Since 2010, I've been teaching and designing courses in higher education and for corporations. I used to teach full-time and design part-time, but I fell so much in love with designing courses that I decided to go back and get my doctorate in curriculum and instruction. And so now I'm flipped to designing courses full-time and teaching in higher education part-time. I also, as Jay said, I teach for W.I.T.S. I've helped design a couple of those courses. I love it. It's like a big puzzle piece that you get to put together. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about puzzle pieces here today. So the learning outcomes, because I'm an educator, you know I have to talk about outcomes, right? We have three. And while we're going to talk about the steps of designing an online course, we're probably only going to deep dive into a few of them. There's a lot to unpack, and really this could be multiple courses on designing an online course. We are going to talk about best practices that will help you design well, basically the best course. And then there are a multitude of tools that you can use to assist yourself as you're designing. And I'm going to touch base on a few, and there are always new ones popping up. So I bet a lot of you actually can jump in, chime in, put your thoughts in the chat of some tools that I probably haven't even heard about. I love learning from the people that I'm doing webinars or classes with. So although we're going to dive into this, what I really hope that you get out of today is that you realize you can and should think about providing online courses as part of your training business, as a part of the packages that you provide to your clients. So here we go. We're coming up on our very first poll question, Jay. How many of you have taken an online course?
Okay, we're going to launch this puppy, and then everybody can do their thing and participate, because that's how we really get a lot more
Yeah.
information drawing out of Martha to help you guys. Here we go.
All right, where's the poll? Okay.
Just on your screen right now. And again, how many of you have taken an online course? Please mark the appropriate box.
All right, let's see.
And we can have some fun with this. Okay, it's starting to come in here. We've got about 60% voted so far. We'll give it another 15 seconds. And your input's very helpful on how we approach
Yeah.
the rest of this webinar, because this webinar is for who? It's for you guys. Okay, we've got 70% in. I'm going to close it out so we can have it.
All right.
Okay.
What do we have? What are the answers?
We have 13% have done 1 to 3, 33% have done 3 to 10, and over 50%, 53% have over 10 that they've done. Only 1% have none.
Well, and that's actually kind of what I figured, that the majority of, well, one, y'all are on a webinar learning right now, right? But that the majority of you have probably taken some form of an online course, whether it was in higher education or whether, hey, you probably have taken one with W.I.T.S, I'm hoping, right? And if not, we're going to tell you about some of the great courses that W.I.T.S has, or maybe you've done it through LinkedIn Learning or some other platform that you've done. When you think about some of the platforms, Canvas and Blackboard, W.I.T.S does Canvas. Blackboard's another learning management system. Those are usually in higher education. And then there's some other platforms we're going to talk about later that maybe you've done, like in LinkedIn or on Thinkific. But that's kind of what I was figuring, that the most of you would have done that. And then think about it. Why did you take, and drop it in the chat if you want, why did you take an online course and not a face-to-face course? I'm going to guess that probably some of your answers are, nowadays that may be the only way it was offered. definitely convenience, right? How easy is it to take the course in your pajamas, 9 o'clock at night, eating ice cream? Wait, this is a fitness thing. Eating apples, right? It's just more, it's a lot easier than having to get dressed, get in the car, drive, find the parking spot, do this, do that. It's just easier. So convenience really comes down to it. And now, I mean, really, we're going to talk about the boom in the e-learning industry. A lot of these courses online is the only place you can find it. So, why should you create an online course? Well, first thing right out of the box, it helps generate leads, right? You want that online course that you have to be a lead generation machine. You want to cross sell and downsell parts of your business, like your coaching services or any other items that you may have. You want to build your email list, your social media growth, basically your audience overall. And believe it or not, as you build online courses, it really does help you fine tune who your customer is. Now, you can create an online course and give it to people for free. It's kind of that, yeah, oh, I forget what the term is, but it's like you're baiting them, you're trying to hook them in, you give them that PDF or that book for free or that course for free. And then again, you're getting them on your email list, you're getting that lead generation. Or maybe you're going to have them pay for your course. And well, that of course increases sales. Regardless of which one you do, the result is going to be the same. You're going to get new and relevant, ready to use leads for your business. And if you're in business on your own, that's what you're looking for. The next one is it's going to help you build your brand and become an authority in the industry. Everyone wants to work with an authority in the industry. For example, W.I.T.S. W.I.T.S is an authority in the field of health and wellness, right? You hear the name W.I.T.S, you know that they're backed by, I mean, just really good, solid courses, certifications, good instructors. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but I'm just saying. That you want to become the authority. And so how do you do that? One way is to create an online course because opportunities start coming to you when you're considered an authority. You don't have to keep chasing those stages and platforms to share your message because they're like, oh, I know that person. They put out really good content. I'm going to see what else they have that I can sign up for. So you want to become an authority in your field, and creating courses is one way to do it. Another one is to create the opportunity to work remotely, right? Listen, COVID had a great deal to do with the remote world that we live in now, but it really does offer you that opportunity to have a little bit more freedom in your life. Maybe more opportunity to work on projects you want to work with certain types of clients that you want to, spend more time with your family, right? Now, I know that when you own your own business, it's really easy to slip into that trap where it owns you and you're just working all the time. But when you create an online course, I'm not going to say it's easy. Well, it is easy, but it also still requires a lot of hard work and effort. But if you approach it correctly, it can fuel your freedom instead of stealing it. So it's a great way to create these courses and have the opportunity to go on vacation and still be working with your clients. Another one is leveraging your existing content and expertise. I have no doubt that the majority of you already have a ton of materials for your online course. You just don't even realize you have it. You have probably written about it somewhere. Maybe you've already recorded videos or done podcasts or done interviews. You've probably created resources for your clients, some type of workbook. I know you've created different kinds of trainings for your clients. And you probably have endless notes from your client sessions and past products. Really, you have the content, you probably just don't realize it. And it's just screaming for you to create an online course. Again, it creates work, but you probably have a lot of this already. Again, so this is before the days of the internet. Back in the early 90s, I was a personal trainer up in DC, and I went and did in-home trainings. So I had my little notebooks, and I wrote down all of their trainings, and I took copious notes, just talking about what worked, what went well, what worked together. I know it really dates me. It was before the age of internet where you could just go on the internet and get training programs and stuff. but I had a ton of resources. So think about it. Think about what you already have and what you can draw from. And then, I mean, this is self-explanatory, right? It's going to help you reach a global audience, and it gets you out of your zip code. So if you're just training clients at the gym or in your home or in their house, you're limited to who you can reach. But if you go online, you can reach, I mean, the United States, different countries. You can be around the world training people. My daughter, when COVID hit really big and she was looking for different workouts, was following a girl in Australia. And so that girl in Australia now, my daughter didn't pay for the services, but she was making money off of all the advertisements on her sites. So she was bringing in money because my daughter found her and liked her. There she was in Australia. So you can reach a global audience. The other thing is staking your claim in this industry. The e-learning industry is booming and thriving. And I mean, it's not going to slow down anytime soon. I was trying to do a little research and I found a study that said this industry will continue to grow, and by 2025, it will be worth 300. Did someone jump in? No. It will be worth $325 billion by 2025. That's a lot of money, right? Don't you want to be a part of that? And again, COVID really made this boom. I saw this happen. People were looking for ways to work out in their home because their gyms had been closed down. And those who were already online got a bunch of new customers. They were ready and they had what the people needed and they came to them. I mean, I remember, so I work here in Virginia Beach at One Life. I work out there. And at that time, they didn't have anything online, but boy, did they quickly turn that around and they started offering their members opportunities to follow to videos and stuff. They didn't want to lose their customers to somebody else who was offering what we needed. So this is a great industry to become a part of. Absolutely get in on it. It's not slowing down. And then again, a new income stream, right? If you design courses, you have a new way to make money. You can do it by offering live courses, live classes, recorded classes. You can do audio-based classes. You can do online text-based classes. You can do a combination of all of them. That's going to be up to you and what you think your clients want most, or what you want to offer, what you have time to develop and offer. Again, this is a great way to make some new revenue in your business. Any questions so far? While I take a sip of my unsweetened iced tea.
I don't see any. Again, you guys can write the questions in the question pane, and I'll share them as we go along and look for an opportunity to break in. But also, I've unmuted everybody, so if you're not going to ask a question, certainly stay muted. But if you'd like to, boom, open it up, and we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Please jump in. I like to have a little bit of discussion as we go. So anyway, those are some great reasons, and there are a multitude of more. Those were the top ones that I picked. So next steps, right? Now that I've given you those incredible reasons to create it, I know you're saying, yes, Martha, I'm ready. I'm ready to create an online course. So now you need to say to yourself, well, what am I going to teach, right? You got to think about that. What is it that I'm going to teach? And you want to make sure that you pick that ideal course niche, right? So you can see in my little graphic here that you want to have that sweet spot. Deciding what to teach is tricky because it needs to be something you're knowledgeable about, you're passionate about, but it also should have the potential to attract a lot of students. Again, you want to find that sweet spot, that intersection right here of your skills and knowledge, interest and passion, and profit. My grandfather always said, find a need and fill it. So when you're thinking about your topic, and I know you've got a bunch, you probably, as you're training individuals, you find that you have a specific group that you might enjoy training more, or you might stick to one group training you right now. Maybe you are into sports and you really work with tennis players or baseball players, or maybe you're working with, pregnant moms. Whatever it is, you want to think about that because the fitness industry is very crowded. And if you go and launch another beginner course, you probably aren't going to get many people signing up for your topic. So again, you want to pick a micro topic that isn't crowded, but still can get you a decent number of students. So how do you do this? How do you pick that micro topic in the fitness industry? How do you find that sweet spot? Well, you have to do some upfront research. And a great place to start is a site called Udemy. It's Udemy, but it's pronounced Udemy. And Udemy right now is one of the most popular course platforms out there. I think I saw where it said it had roughly over 49 million monthly students. It's a great place to begin your research. So I went on there and I looked up fitness training for beginners. And anybody want to guess how many courses popped up? Drop your guess in the chat. Let's see what you think. How many courses do you think popped up for fitness training for beginners? Anybody want to guess?
I've got 500. I've got 200,000 from Karen. I've got 1,000 from Sonia. I've got 50,000 from Bridget. 5,000 from Carla. Way too many from Sandra.
Well, thank goodness it's not 200,000, but it is 10,000 courses listed on Udemy's marketplace. So that means there's a lot of competition in this topic, and your chances of standing out are going to be thin. So then I picked a micro topic. I dove in a little bit deeper, and I said stretching exercises. Well, that one only has 1,500 courses. That's a lot more doable. A lot less competition, right? So again, if you want to stand out from the crowd, your first step is to pick that right micro topic that you can really dive into. Now, besides Udemy, you can also use Google Trends. It's a tool that can help verify your research. I have not used it, but I know a lot of people who have used Google Trends and have had a lot of success with it. So give that a shot. Now, once you nail down that micro topic, the next step is to figure out, can I go even deeper? Like, who's my target audience, right? So, for instance, maybe you're going to pick a topic and a target audience for women, and you're going to make it as specific as 30-day workout training for busy moms. You can see how we really tighten that up. Or maybe it's a 90-day muscle building plan for men over 40. And so, again, you want to find that sweet spot. And a great way to do that, Udemy, looking at it, Google Trends, but another is to survey your family, friends, and clients. What is it they're looking for? What do they want? And what information are your clients paying for in other places that you aren't providing? So they're coming to you, but are they paying for something outside of you that you could offer them? Ask them what they're doing and why they like it. Talk to the people around you, get their input and see what they have to say.
It's funny you say that because I ask our alumni all the time in the newsletters, at least 3 times a year, what hot topics would you like to expand your base knowledge to obviously be able to bring in more clients in those areas? And I'll bet I get tops, maybe 3 or 4 people in any given request with some ideas. So I'm putting that out there since we have an active audience who's looking at stuff like this right now. Also, I got a question from Walter. Is live group training an option?
Yeah, absolutely. That absolutely can be. Now, again, that's you providing it. That's great, but it takes away a little bit of that freedom that you have, right? As if instead of recording it. Now, live is great. I think that's wonderful, but also think about making sure you record your live session so that you can offer it to other people and have that revenue stream as well. Just something to think about.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so now you have your topic. The next thing you want to do is choose your online course platform. So this, I went on and I Googled the top 9, and this is what came up. There are so many different course platforms out there. And a course platform, again, is like Canvas. Like if you've ever taken a W.I.T.S course, W.I.T.S uses Canvas. And that really, Canvas and Blackboard are mostly for corporations and higher education and not for that individual person doing it. These that I brought up are more for a small business or an individual wanting to provide courses. Now, with this right here, These change from year to year, and new ones pop up all the time. So you might go Google best online course pop, you might get a different list. Now, Udemy always seems to be up top. A lot of times you can use these for free for a few weeks so you can get a feel for them. They all have different price points. Ultimately, you're going to have to do what works best for you. And although I put this step here, this step really is for you just to look at it, not to actually go out and pay for or buy anything, but it's just to start researching and looking at it. Because as you look at the different platforms, they have different templates, and it'll give you a feel for how you want to organize your knowledge. And we're going to go to that in just a second. And then after you sort of get your content, you're going to review the platforms again. So again, these right here, you can see that like Udemy is great for launching your first course, Teachable online with advanced marketing. When I did it and I started some online courses back in 2019, I looked at Udemy, Teachable, Thinkific, and Kajabi, and I went with Thinkific. And honestly, I can't even tell you why. I don't remember. I have no idea why I picked that one. For me, I can guarantee it was probably the easiest to use for me to create and put my content where I wanted it. Some of these you have to have a little bit more computer knowledge than others. So again, it's really just going to be you playing around and looking at them and giving them a try. Again, most of them always let you sign up for a week or two and create a course and see how you like it. So again, it's a great step to do now to look at it, but I wouldn't pay for anything at this point. I would really hold off till you get your content ready. All right, we have another poll question. Have you ever created? You ready?
Let's see here. Boom. Okay. Have you ever created an online course? Yes or not yet? And again, we'll give it about 30 seconds because we love to get a feel for who's out there working with us right now, and Martha can guide you a little better. I appreciate everybody's sharing of what they're thinking and doing. Okay, we got about 64% voted so far.
And now, if you answered yes, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind sharing, drop it in the chat. What course did you design, and did you use one of the platforms? Out of curiosity.
That's great. Yeah, let's see. We got. I'll give it 9 more seconds because I am that kind of a precise guy.
I love that, Jay. That's great. So what you're saying is I better end on time, right?
Never. I love hearing you talk. Okay, so we're pretty much at 65% have voted, and the tally is 15% have said yes.
Okay.
85% have said not yet.
Okay. And did we get anything of that 15% telling me what course they created or what platform they may have used?
That's a great question. I see, Walter, I see your mic's green. Did you want to add something or share?
Well, I have approached this a little bit differently, so it may not be useful to anybody. But what I did was during the pandemic, I started doing all of my training in person online with senior citizens. So because they were senior citizens, everybody had to be carefully screened, and the room for error is pretty narrow because almost everybody has some kind of issue. So I'll have some people with really, really strong upper body strength but can't do anything on their feet. I'll have other people with neck injuries or all kinds of things that happen to them just through age and the aging process. So I do everything in person and online, and then I create a unique course for each individual person. And then I monitor their progress, and I change their work every session. So the courses I create are unique to each individual. Now, so what's that good for? That's good for, I really have some really fit 70 and 80-year-olds. The downside is that I don't have a large audience. And so the reason I asked the question about a group work is because I'm 74, so I primarily work with older adults, mostly people who are interested in fitness and want to stay fit. So they're not really, they're not really mobile,
Hmm.
but all of them have aging issues. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how I can increase my what's the term, scale up my
Right. Well,
work. That's why I
yeah.
asked about the group work.
Well, what I would do is I would, like I said, I would record your live sessions, and that becomes, stuff that you can put on to one of these platforms or even a YouTube channel for that matter, and you can utilize that and draw clients in that way. I
So
mean,
what you're
so I,
saying is that if I took the workouts that I do for, let's say I have a person with severe issues with his feet. So
and
everything we do is basically on from a chair or from the ground.
but
I
you
have
couldn't
another
put,
client who can't get
but
on the
you,
ground. He can't get back
Walter,
up.
Walter, you couldn't put that person on the video unless they signed some legal
No,
documentation.
I could provide, I could do that workout for that
Yes,
issue
yes, yes. If
and
we,
put it online. So I wouldn't have
yeah,
to
yeah,
show
yeah.
the person.
Right,
I could say,
right.
this, is that something that you could see as viable?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
If
absolutely.
you're
Yeah.
unable
Mhm.
to walk more than, more than 100 feet, this could be the workout for you.
Right, exactly. No, and that's your little micro topic right there. No, good job. Anybody else? What other courses or platforms? Anybody else respond? Thanks, Walter. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Let's see, we got 15% of a couple hundred here, so somebody unmute, please. It'd be great to get some more stuff like Walter was sharing. That's how
Yeah.
we all learn and expand. Because yeah, I mean, like the simple point that if he wanted to start marketing a specific workout with that client, yeah, getting a liability form to sign off on to then open it up to the public and other people in that same situation, which there are a plenty in our
Yeah.
senior population. All of a
And
sudden,
like,
it becomes very, very. What was it about? It's about maximizing some revenue streams there. So
right. And that's how goes back to our point that you're already doing things that you can create that content. So that takes us to organizing your knowledge, right? We talked about what content is it that you're already putting out there, right? You need to gather all that content and review it because now you've decided, all right, I'm doing this. I've got my micro topic. I kind of know what platform I'm going to use. Not sure. I kind of looked at it. Right now, what is it that I'm going to put into this course? Like Walter was saying, he already knows. He has his micro topic. He knows he can do it. He already knows he does live sessions. So now he can videotape those. And that's some content right there, right? So you'll want to know enough that the newcomer, right, to the topic is going to learn a good deal from you and probably a little bit more. But look at other courses within that topic and look and see what it is that you like about it and what you don't like about it. And how do you want to be different? What is it that you're going to do that's going to make you stand out from the rest of the individuals that are doing fitness for senior citizens or fitness for, pregnant women or whatever the case may be? What is it? What twist? What specialty? What are you going to add to it? Now, since I'm going to say and assume that you're not the authority yet. If you are, fantastic. But if you're not the authority yet in a topic, it's really good in your course to have multiple sources, studies, websites, and other authorities to back up your content. If you're going to say something, why are you saying that? Where did it come from? Did it come from a study? And that's the academic in me coming out. But it really is important. When I look at a course, or because I love to take courses from other people, but if they're just throwing stuff out there and they're not backing it up, I usually am not impressed. I probably won't take their class. Not saying you have to write a research paper, but make sure that you are citing other sources. Now that you're getting your all your content, I hate to say this, but knowledge alone is not enough. You're gonna have to know how to deliver it. And you want to deliver it in a way that makes sense to the student and that the student can understand the content. So you don't just dump a bunch of content and a bunch of facts and a bunch of videos and you say, here you go, right? That's not what people want. You want to think about, all right, I have this content. What should they learn at the beginning and what should be saved for later? How do they connect? And at what point do I think the student has had enough information on X, Y, and Z? Maybe we talk about the pros and cons of exercising while being pregnant, right? There are many reasons you should do it, and there are a few things that you need to be careful about. How much information do I need to get? These are things you're thinking about, right? There's a little saying I say all the time when I'm working with I call them course leads, because I help other professors and instructors and businesses build their courses. It's called need to know versus nice to know, right? Give the students what they need to know, not necessarily all the nice to know. So right now I'm working with a professor from a university in dental health, and he has 6 modules, and each module is no more than an hour in length. They're not getting credit for it. It's for professionals in dental health, and they get like a badge, like a CEU. Well, in his outline that we created, he had so many pages, and it was all text-based. And I had to go back and say, all right, let's talk about what we really want to give these students, right? What is the need to know? We can have nice to know, and usually that follows under a heading of additional resources to explore. Or if you have a lot of content, maybe you have multiple courses on your hand and you just don't realize it, right? So really, as I was talking to this professor, we found out he could have 2 micro courses. So we took a bunch of what was nice to know in this one course and created another course where it was need to know information. All right, so think about that as you're gathering need to know versus nice to know. Again, the biggest problem I see is brain dumping too much information, and the students just don't stay focused when it's so much. All right. All right. So now that you've got your content, you're ready. And how do you put it together? So I'm a big fan of something called the backward design model. And this is really just a planning framework in which you start with the end in mind. You start with those desired outcomes. What is it that I want the student to be able to do at the end of this course? Like, I mean, I know I'm looking, I want to get paid, or I want the lead generation, but really I want to provide them a service, right? You want to provide them something so they walk away thinking, oh my gosh, this was fantastic. I learned so much, or whatever your objective is, right? So you want to think about those outcomes and what it is you want them to do. It could be, I mean, you might have them, let's see, outcomes might be something about losing weight or gaining weight or increasing the sets and reps or running so many miles. Or maybe it's a knowledge check because you want them to be able to know the pros and cons of exercising during pregnancy. So you want to make sure that you're looking at what are those results that you want them to have. Then the next thing you're going to do is say, okay, well, how am I going to check if they got this information, right? How am I going to check if they've reached these objectives? For something like WITS, you'll see assignments and quizzes. Maybe it's a paper. It's probably not where you're going to go with a course that you're doing. Maybe it's something else, like maybe there's an app they're filling out or something. So you just want to think about how will they know they've achieved it. Maybe you have an ungraded knowledge check. For this dental course that we're doing, it's not graded. There's not a person monitoring the course at all. It's just professionals going in and going through each page and each module. But at the end, there will be a graded quiz to see if they did well, and then they get a badge at the end. So maybe in your courses, they're collecting badges, something like that. Then once you have those in place, the third thing is, what are my learning activities? What are the activities or teaching strategies that I'm going to use, right? Is it going to be videos? Is it going to be audio? Will they have, you know, like I said before, I'm blanking. What's some other things we can do? Text-based. Maybe it's a textbook, or it's a book they're doing, or it's websites they're going to. Where's the content coming from? But when you look at this, the goal is that everything maps or is in alignment. So if you create an objective, what's that assessment going to do? Is that assessment going to support that objective? And then what content is going to support that assessment? So for instance, I'm going to use W.I.T.S as an example. So W.I.T.S has a great course called Health coaching certification course. Say that 10 times fast, right? So here are their outcomes for the course, and we're going to take a look at the one in italics. It's explain the importance of coaching agreements and identify the essential components. W.I.T.S said, all right, we're doing this course. I think it's really important that one of the things the students knows how to do is to talk about coaching agreements and identify the components that are important. It's really important. We got our objective. We know what the student wants to do. All right, how are we going to assess them? Or how's the student going to know they were successful? So W.I.T.S said, all right, we're actually going to have the students create their own coaching agreement for one of their clients, and it can be a real or imaginary client. So the student has to create it. Now, W.I.T.S in these courses have instructors that they're grading. So we got the assignment, and then we're like, well, wait a minute. If we expect them to do this, what content are we going to put in that supports it? Well, within the textbook, there's a whole section that talks about each element of the coaching agreement, and it gives really good examples so the students can see real life coaching agreements. So you can see how all three of those support one another. They all map back, right? So the objective to the assessment to the content. Again, you probably aren't going to have graded assessments, but you can have quick, easy, non-graded ones that, you know, the student's like, oh, look, I did pass this drag and drop activity, or some of these platforms offer a scenario-based activity, and then it just automatically grades and they get a badge. So think about those things as you're creating it. Any questions so far?
I've got a couple that have popped up here. Let's see.
Okay.
Some of them are straight up. When running an online fitness program, do you need insurance?
That's a really good question, and that is outside of my wheelhouse. I'll be really honest. I would think so, Jay. What do you? I mean, if you're
Yeah, absolutely. It can never go wrong with it.
right, I
And,
mean,
and frankly, I mean, these days, insurance for a certified fitness professional is cheap. It ranges anywhere from $129 for $1 million policy.
I mean,
They can get on our website through this CPH that does physical therapists and other things. It's pretty darn cheap to cover yourself, because you know when somebody gets hurt, or it may not even be related to your program, but they kind of go to tie it in when they're talking to their attorney how they got hurt. They throw everything against the wall and just to see what'll stick, and you may be part of that gum that they're trying to
yeah,
stick a lawsuit on you. So, absolutely, yes.
yeah.
Let's see. I do Zoom. Ooh, it jumped on me. I do Zoom now, live classes. So, won't I lose money if I give out my recordings?
No, I don't think so at all. No, I disagree with that. You can still do your live Zoom classes, and I assume you're not always doing the exact same thing, right? You're changing it up as we all do with our programs, and now you're just creating that archive and allowing people from different places to come in and go back. Maybe it's a monthly membership where they get live Zoom so many times, and then they have the ability to go back to the library because maybe they want to work out at 10 o'clock at night, but you're not offering it. So who am I going to go to? I'm not going to come to you. I'm going to go to somebody else. So I would say no, that you're not going to lose money.
Yeah, 100%. I see, Denise, you're trying to ask a question. You got yourself unmuted.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me mute
Okay.
it up. I had actually sent a chat, but I didn't get a response about a class that I do online. I do an online fitness class with seniors, a seated class. I've been doing it since COVID, because I taught live when I was living in DC. I'm now in Florida, and so my students from there follow me online, and I'll teach
Nice.
more. So yes, we do a seated class on Tuesday and Thursday on Facebook Live.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
great. All
Okay,
right.
got another couple if you want to dance with them, Martha. Let's see. A disclaimer on the video, on the recording. Melinda's asking that.
What about a disclaimer?
I think
Should you have one?
that would be my yes, from what's there.
I think anything you can do to protect yourself legally, you should do.
Yes, I agree. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I give it one more here because I know we've got some other stuff.
I know.
I'm an LMS administrator,
Oh,
so I have
nice.
created quite a few courses, although nothing fitness related. I have primarily used Brainshark, which is a
Okay.
super user-friendly and allows for the addition of PowerPoint files, videos, etc. I have had these courses loaded within corporate learning systems utilizing sum total, success factors, and path lore. Yeah, no, she was just sharing that.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Thank you. I had not heard of Brain Shark, so y'all look that one up too. Like I said, they're always coming out with new ones, so you really have to stay up to date on the latest technology. So it's already 3:45, so I'm going to try to go through some of this quickly. I apologize, but I do want to jump into best practices. So now that you have your content, you know what you want to do, you've got the need to know versus the nice to know, and you're going to put it into your learning platform, whatever you choose. So you want to have each piece of the puzzle, right? So this stands for personalized, interactive and intuitive, engaging, collaborative, and engaging. And so with personalized, this is where you're looking at your content and does it treat learners as individuals? Because everybody comes to your course with different backgrounds, abilities, and prior knowledge. And I gave Jay the heads up. I was going to ask him, tell us a little bit about W.I.T.S students, because I know that they come from different regions and different parts of the world and with different backgrounds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have, well, obviously coast to coast and up in Canada. So the variations of students that we have, for instance, in Canada, they have a whole different, more proactive, I believe, approach to fitness and wellness comprehensively. They're very active in how they do that. And then you've got obviously other different areas that have different directives as far as just the, I guess, the community at large as to what they like, don't like, things like that. So you obviously have to adapt and adjust. So these courses try to create that. I'm not going to call it brain shark to match up with that other one, but I'm going to call just develop some thought processes, some ideas that they can then fine tune and deliver to their community to make it very profitable and healthy and safe and successful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know W.I.T.S does a great job of really making sure that their courses are personable. One of the things you want to do is you want to treat adult learners like adults and not children. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but sometimes we want to, when we create a course, almost make it too elementary. Adult learners, there's something called adult learning theory, and what they state is learners, boy, that's a tongue twister. Adult learners learn best when learning is self-directed, right? So you want to start your program by listing the direct benefits and the information that you're going to teach. You want to tell them what they're going to do so that they know right away off the bat if this is for them. It allows them to choose whether or not to participate, and also let them make the decision about their pace of learning. Adults come to you, they've got a lot going on, full-time jobs or full-time parent or caregiver, and they might be doing this at night. So give them the opportunity in your platform to stop and start the course when necessary, if that's possible. This way we provide ownership to the adult and control for those adult learners. The other thing, and we're talking about they come to this course with a lot of experience, allow adults to pull from their own experience, right? They have a lot to offer. So you want to include things like real world examples and realistic scenarios. You want your training to connect with past experiences of the learners. You might even do a skill assessment prior to your program, and then you can leverage the skills of your audience in your course design. And it really gives you a feel for who's coming to your courses. And then that also helps you redesign or reevaluate what you're offering them. I got to speed up because it's already 10 till. So interactive, really make sure that you're giving them the opportunity to participate and not just read text. We've talked about giving those workouts, allowing them to see a video or an interview or something that they can be a part of. Interactions are great, even if it's a check your knowledge question or a scenario-based problem. Now, intuitive really is going to come from your platform. That's making sure that your course design is inviting. So their platform really helps you out with that when you choose it, because it'll have different templates, but you want to make sure that you have a consistent layout and style that's simple. You want your navigation to be intuitive. So again, this has a lot to do with the platform that you pick. And then engaging, right? This is built on the idea that adults are motivated to learn when they find value in the tasks that you're giving them. So you want to show your students that the content you're teaching them will help them achieve their personal and professional goals, right? If an adult doesn't see benefit from your course, they're going to be bored and they're going to be resentful that you took up their time. So you got to make sure that you're making it engaging. And adult learners only want relevant information. They want to make sure it's relevant to their lives right now. So you want to make sure that you're demonstrating that long and short-term benefits of what you're teaching to them. Now, collaborative may or may not work in your situation. This is where you have opportunities for the members in that community to interact with either you or each other. Again, that depends on the type of course you're offering. That may or may not work, and that's fine. And then experience. So this is where the course includes a diversity of perspectives, authors, and resources, and is ADA accessible, right? So we think about that, and I will talk about ADA very quickly because it's 10 till, but you want to make sure that you are taking into account, not everyone knows fitness jargon. So maybe you're going to have a glossary, or you explain the acronyms, because not everybody knows what a set and rep is, right? We think everyone knows what we're talking about, but take into consideration someone who's coming in and has never been in the fitness world. So how are you going to provide a comfortable space for them? And then accessibility. This is making sure your content is usable to people of all abilities and disabilities. Studies really show that 1 in 5 learners have a disability, and the CDC says approximately 20% of Americans will come to your course needing some accommodation. And these can be visual, auditory, physical, speech-related, cognitive, learning, and neurological. And we, some of them we don't think about, like for colorblind individuals. We have to make sure that we don't use, like, for instance, red or green to emphasize importance for something like stop and go, right? We have to make sure that we use the words stop and go and not just colors, because they won't see that in our online environment. And again, this web accessibility is required by law. Now, the good news is, again, a really good LMS is going to do that heavy lifting to make your e-learning accessible, but you're still going to have to take a look at your content. And you want to make sure that you're doing 3 things, or your LMS is. And that's that you're providing alt tags. And what that is that is a way to describe images so that a screen reader for someone who's visually impaired will pick that up. And I'll show you a quick example. So here's an example of a stack of brownies. Alt text is something that you're going to put in that platform that as a screen reader goes down and hits an image, it will say brownies, and this is done in HTML. That's not very descriptive. I mean, that's okay, but even better is going to be chocolate brownies with strawberries on top. And even better is going to be a stack of brownies with chocolate drizzle surrounded by strawberries, so that that individual can get a real feel for what the images are and why it's important in your course. So just something to think about. And then, of course, making sure you have videos with closed caption, or you have transcripts for any audio clips that the learners will encounter. I want to show you real quick too, a real easy way, like if you're doing PowerPoint presentations or you're going to put this type of information into your course, is here's a slide. You can see 3 different colors. Now these colors really aren't suggesting any kind of importance. However, if they had a key down here that green meant the best and pink meant the worst and yellow meant okay, if you view it in grayscale, and you have this option in PowerPoint and Google Slides, this is what it looks like to someone who's visually impaired. Can't really tell the difference, can you? They all look the same. Now, please understand there are many different types of color blindness, and so they will all see something a little bit different. This is sort of just a general way to take a look at your presentations and what do they look like to those that might have a visual disability. So anytime I do a presentation, I look to see if any of my colors that are denoting some kind of importance can be seen. Apparently not, right? So I try hard not to use color as a way for importance. And then real quick, I'll show you this last slide. And these are resources that you can use. If you want to take a screenshot of this, it's great. This first one is a list of easy checks. And so you go in here and it just gives you all this information, a great video, but it helps you check to see if your course is accessible. Again, your learning platform will be helpful there. And then here's a tool, another tool that's very helpful. This is the website here. That's what it looks like. It gives you different evaluation tools. And last but not least, this one actually simulates colorblind vision when visiting websites. So it's really helpful as well. And I want to see if there are any questions. We've got like 6 minutes left.
This is great stuff for sure. And just everybody, reminder, you're going to get a recording of this after the event, and those that were here the whole time will get the quiz as well.
I do want to show one more thing, Jay, before we go.
Absolutely.
There is a list of tools, and they have a great list of tools, and it comes from this resource, edgepointlearning.com. But if you want to take a screenshot of this, or I can send it out to Jay and he can send it out, it just has a list of tools for graphics, for audio, for video, for LMS, and it is a fantastic resource to go to try out these different free tools that you're going to want to use when creating your course.
Yeah. I use Canva myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at you go, Jay. I'm impressed.
even the blind squirrel, right?
Okay. Right. Gets a nut once in a while.
I will note here real quick. Somebody wrote down on one of the other things. Member Vault. Yes, Member Vault and Go High Level Platforms.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one, I think, to create some fun. Let's see what else we're looking here. Thank you for mentioning color blindness. I have a friend who is, and there are very few things that consider this.
Yes, it's a big deal when you're doing these online courses to really make sure.
And let's see, we have another one here. Yes, I use the Meetup app to be training my clients. And
nice. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so something else to consider out there. And any other questions? Any other comments? It's all about engagement and being collaborative. I'm going to do one of those stuttering words too there.
I know.
Let's see, from Donna, thank you. Excellent information today. You betcha. Well, if nobody else has anything else, I can honestly say this was fun and engaging with a lot of great energy.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Martha. And everybody, within 6 hours later, you'll receive the recording as well as the quiz. So you can, if you attended, don't write me if you haven't, and you just get the recording. So everybody's saying thank you. Great information. You're a big hit as always, Martha. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, everyone, for participating.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.